Now, you know what would be nice? Starting a new franchise off, but not starting with 0 overall players. However, that's not going to be the case once again. I've created a new franchise, the Wichita Wildcats, and with the Wichita Wildcats, we're not going to be starting with any NHL players. We have 0 overall players across the board, but don't worry, because of course, like always, I'm going to win a Stanley Cup, and how am I going to do that? Well, through the wheel of jersey numbers. Now, I think it's pretty self-explanatory what we're going to do. We're going to spin this wheel right here, and we're going to land on a jersey number. And it looks like we're starting with jersey number 1. Starting on jersey number 1 on the wheel of jersey numbers, that just seems perfect. So like always, I'm going to be using Hockey Reference. They have every player that's played so far in the 2025-2026 season on this list right here. And they have all those players categorized by jersey number. Now, of course, we're starting with jersey number 1. And who do we have the opportunity to select? Well, Eric Comrie, Devin Cooley, Lucas Dostal, Casey DeSmith, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. We have Levi Merlainen, Eric Portillo, and then of course Jeremy Swayman. So we have a ton of goaltenders that we can select here. And honestly, starting with a goaltender is probably the best thing we could start with. And out of all of these goaltenders, I think I'm going with Jeremy Swayman because I believe he is the highest overall. If not, it's going to be someone like Lucas Dostal or Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. So no matter who we select here, we're walking away with a goaltender to start this video off. So we have a handful of options when it comes to a goalie. Lucas Dostal right now is an 85 overall. When it comes to the Buffalo Sabres and Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, he's going to be an 84. So based on these overalls right here, I can only assume Jeremy Swayman is going to be the highest, but he's also going to be tied with Lucas Dostal in an 85 overall. So do I want Jeremy Swayman or do I want Lucas Dostal? Well, I think we're going to go with Jeremy Swayman because he's an old stick on the ice legend, one of the first stick on the ice legends in history. So Jeremy Swayman, welcome to the Wichita Wildcats. Like, Jeremy Swayman's really an OG stick on the ice legend. This was before Brandon Carlo was a stick on the ice legend. This is probably even before Andre Burakovsky was a stick on the ice legend. Jeremy Swayman was one of the first. So with only Jeremy Swayman on this team and 0 overalls in front of him, what am I expecting from him? A whole bunch of losses this season. Like, you're going to be losing every game. You have no offensive support. Nothing's going to happen for you. So let's go ahead and simulate season number 1. Let's see what Jeremy Swayman's going to be able to accomplish. Yeah, he's losing every game. What are we talking about? Well, never mind. I have to take it all back. You will not be losing every game because we're going to be crashing in year number 1. Isn't that a fantastic start? And if you don't want these crashes to continue, then make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're trying to hit 88k subs by the end of the month, but more importantly, we want these crashes to stop. I don't know if I could deal with this for the entire video. Now, we're not really off to the greatest start imaginable because we're crashing 3 games in, but that's neither here nor there. It's time for us to spin the wheel, and it looks like we're going to be landing on jersey number 90, and I have no issues with jersey number 90. Now, jersey number 90 is definitely going to be giving us some great players, but there's only 7 to select from. But the main player that we're going to be looking at here is Ryan O'Reilly with the Nashville Predators, a former St. Louis Blue, a former Stanley Cup champion with the St. Louis Blues. Unfortunately, he's not really in his prime anymore. But yeah, Ryan O'Reilly, you're still going to be a great addition to the team. I mean, there is options like JJ Boeser and then Victor Mancini, stick on the ice legend. If you know, you know. So yeah, Ryan O'Reilly isn't the only option, but he is the option we're going to go with. So Ryan O'Reilly, a former St. Louis Blues legend, is going to be joining the team next. I think he's going to be an amazing player for us. Yes, he isn't the player he used to be, but he's still an 85 overall. He's going to be a serviceable enough centerman for us, and he's going to be a great two-way player. Now, I'm not focused on Ryan O'Reilly taking shots this season or even scoring goals. The only thing I'm focused on right now is actually getting through the entire season. Like, there is no reason we shouldn't be able to simulate at least 82 games, 82 straight losses, and then see who wins the Stanley Cup. I don't know what's with this game crashing all the time, but yeah, I won't allow that to happen again. I'm saying I won't allow it to happen again like I actually impact anything. It very well could crash after game number 1. Ain't no way. This just crashed after game number 1 and I predicted it. I feel like I should be able to add Connor McDavid for that because that is crazy work. Now I'm going to keep it a stack. Right there, that is a top 5 stick on the ice moment. The fact that I predicted the game crashing after game number 1 is crazy work. We're landing on jersey number 94, so we're going to be walking away with another amazing player, but I really predicted that. Now jersey number 94 isn't going to have a ton of players. There's only going to be 3 players for us to select from. Why did I think jersey number 94 was going to be significantly better than this? So we have the option of selecting Linus Karlsson, Joel Kiviranta, or Braden Pahal. I'm going to keep it a stack. I am not that familiar with jersey numbers. I could land on Matt Boldy's jersey number, and I would have no clue that we landed on Matt Boldy's jersey number. I think I mention this every time I've recorded this video, that I am just not familiar with jersey numbers. Besides Robert Thomas, Sidney Crosby, Alexander Ovechkin, and like 6 other players, I am really not that familiar with jersey numbers. So yeah, I really thought number 94 was going to be an elite player. Apparently not. Now, if I'm being honest, I think Brain Pahal is the highest overall player here, so I think that's who we're going to go with. An 80 overall defensive defenseman, that is not bad in the slightest. Like Kiviranta, I believe you're like a 79 overall. I might be wrong there. You're an 80 overall. But you know what? I think I'd rather go with the 80 overall defensive defenseman. I feel like that's the better selection here. Also, Linus Karlsson, I am very confident. I don't really have to go look at your overall. I don't believe you're an 80 overall. If you're higher than an 80 overall, I'm going to be extremely surprised, but you're a 78 overall. So yeah, we're going with the best player available. Now, it's good to see that our head coach is going to be cooking. Ryan O'Reilly, you're going to play first line center minutes. Pahal, I'm going to have you play second line center minutes. Would it make a lot more sense for Brain Pahal to play on the first line and be a right winger for us? Absolutely, but nope, the head coach wants us to run lines like this. We're going to run two centermen that have 0 overalls at their side instead of putting an 85 overall alongside an 80 overall. That would just be too logical. We're running two centermen this season. I mean, I say we're running two centermen like we're not going to crash in the first week. We know what's going to happen. We've seen it before. Now, it's gotten to the point we celebrate times like this. The Wichita Wildcats actually making it through the entire season. And not only did we make it through the entire season, we scored 4 goals this season. Ryan O'Reilly's going to be picking up 4 points. Pahal's picking up 2 goals, 1 assist for 3 points. He was only minus 187. He was absolutely locked in this season. And then when it comes to Jeremy Swayman's numbers, what are we talking about? We know these are going to be terrible. Like, he has 2 players in front of him, and that's about it. 2 actual NHL guys, and then only 0 overalls outside of that. When it comes to our Stanley Cup champs, that's going to be the Montreal Canadiens taking down the Minnesota Wild. Now that we've finally been able to get through one season, I think we have a little bit of momentum. Now, with the momentum that we have right now, how about we build on that and land on number 97 and add Connor McDavid to the team? Close enough. We landed on number 67. We landed on 6-7. Ha ha ha, funny number. This is that time of the video where I mentioned that 6-7 still makes absolutely no sense to me. The joke just makes no sense. I don't get it. Lawson Crouse and Ricardo Rakell are going to be the 2 options for us. Imagine having the jersey number 6-7 right now. Yeah, if I was these 2 guys right here, I'd be changing my jersey number. Now, we have to choose between Ricardo Rakell and Lawson Crouse. And if I'm being honest, I'm pretty sure Ricardo Rakell is a higher overall. Lawson Crouse, you're only an 82. Yeah, we're going to go with Ricardo Rakell here. He's an 86 overall. This is a pretty easy selection for us. He's now the highest overall on the team. So here's the lineup we're going to be running this season. We're going to load up our first line. When it comes to our defense, it's still all 0 overalls. And then in between the pipes, we're going to have Jeremy Swayman. Once again, I think we're looking at a 0-win season, or potentially even just a 2-week season before the game crashes. Well, don't worry, guys. It's not going to be crashing this time. We're only going to freeze 1 game into the season. We lost 6-0 to Florida, and then the game froze. This is so annoying. Alright, so we don't have to worry about looking at the end of season stats because we're only going to get through 1 game. It's time to spin the wheel once again, and we're landing on jersey number 43. I could not name you a single person that wears jersey number 43. So let's go take a look at jersey number 43 and then find some St. Louis blue that wears jersey number 43 because that very likely is the case. Oh, Quinn Hughes is an option. Yeah, so we're going to go with Quinn Hughes. That helps. Also, when Quinn Hughes eventually goes to the New Jersey Devils, is Luke Hughes going to give up his number? That's the real question. So yeah, things are going to work out for us. Quinn Hughes, welcome to the team. I did not realize that you wore jersey number 43, but apparently you do. 95 overall. Quinn Hughes is now going to be brought to the team. One of the best defensemen in the game. We're looking pretty solid right now. I mean, I guess I shouldn't say we're looking solid. We've only made it through 1 actual season. So I don't really know how good we actually are. Now, Quinn Hughes, I'm actually going to have you play forward minutes for me. You're going to be playing on the top line alongside Ryan O'Reilly and Ricardo Rakell. So we are going to load up our top forward line. When it comes to our defense, Brain Pahal, you're going to be playing some big minutes for me. You're going to be playing alongside Rigby. You should be honored to be playing alongside a guy like Rigbone. Okay, this is beyond ridiculous. I would love to know why the game freezes and crashes as much as it does, because that's just one thing I don't understand. Like, I can sometimes understand the crashing when we basically only have a 0 overall team, because the game can't really comprehend us allowing over 2,000 goals over the course of a season. But we have actual NHL players. We are scoring goals and we're only allowing maybe 600 goals per season. There is no reason it should freeze and crash this much. Basically, all I'm learning from this is some of y'all didn't subscribe, because remember how I said if you subscribe to the channel then we wouldn't freeze or crash? Some of y'all didn't subscribe. Y'all are bringing in the bad vibes right now. We're going to be landing on jersey number 50. Jersey number 50 is actually one I am very familiar with, and it's because one of the best goaltenders in the league wears this jersey number. So when it comes to jersey number 50, there's going to be a handful of players we can select from. 6 to be exact, but one of those players is Jordan Binnington. Now, do I want to bring Jordan Binnington to the team? Because if I do that, our goaltending is set. We're going to be rocking Jeremy Swayman and Jordan Binnington. Now, those would be 2 great goaltenders, but basically, do we roll the dice price that will land on like an Andrei Vasilevsky, a Connor Hellebuyck, and Igor Shesterkin in the future. I feel like rolling the dice would make a little bit of sense, so I'm not going to bring Benner to the team. So instead, we're looking at either Will Cooley or Sean Durzi. Those are the two other guys I'm considering. So I will just do a quick double check with Jordan Binnington's overall, but I believe he is an 86 overall, and that is the case. So I'm going to roll the dice on us getting a goaltender above an 86 overall. I think that's the right decision here. We're going to move over to the New York Rangers next. Will Cooley is the guy I'm looking at bringing to the team. He's an 85 overall. I'm going to go with Will Cooley right now, but I'm going to double check with Sean Durzi. I think Sean Durzi has dropped an overall compared to NHL 25. It looks like he's only going to be an 85 overall. Granted, an 85 overall defenseman would be really good for us. It is going to be hard to get defensemen than forwards, but no, I'm going with Will Cooley here. We already have Quinn Hughes on the team. We need a bit more forward help. Now, for the first time, we're actually going to be running a complete lineup. Ryan O'Reilly, Rickard Rakell, and Will Cooley on the top line. When it comes to our defense, we're going to have Quinn Hughes leading us here as a 95 overall. Pahal is going to be an 80 overall. Then when it comes to goaltending, we have 85 overall Jeremy Swayman. Expectations are incredibly high for the Wildcats. The fans are expecting at least one OT loss this season. And even though that's what the fans are expecting, you know what I'm expecting? This game to either crash or freeze. You know what the stupid thing is? We actually won a game this season. The Wichita Wildcats actually won a game this season. However, the game's going to be crashing, so that one win means absolutely nothing. Now, I have just recently been informed that I'm actually not playing NHL 26 right now, but instead I'm playing Crashing Simulator. I was not aware of this. I thought I was playing a hockey game. Nope. I'm playing Crashing Simulator. So through every season I get through, it has to crash 3 times. Things are just fantastic. But you know what? We're not going to worry too much about Crashing Simulator. We're going to worry about jersey number 70. Now there are 7 different players that we can select from. Jesper Boqvist, Jonas Korpisalo, Ryan Lomberg. Okay, this is not the greatest number. Oscar Sundqvist is maybe the best available. Now I'm going to start with Ryan Lomberg. I just want to see what his overall is. I don't think it's the highest in the world. He's a 79 overall and he's a grinder. So how about we don't do that? Instead, let's go over to the St. Louis Blues and we'll take a look at Oscar Sundqvist. Now Oscar Sundqvist, I think you're only like an 81, 80 overall. You're an 81 overall, but also a grinder. Okay, do I want to go with Sundqvist? You know what? We're going to take a look at Jesper Boqvist. I just want to see what his overall is, because I think I'd rather take somebody who is a lower overall that isn't a grinder. So let's see if that's going to be the case. So Jesper Boqvist, what is your overall going to be? You're an 80 overall playmaker. I feel like that makes a little bit more sense. So we're going to go with the 80 overall playmaker, Jesper Boqvist. Welcome to the team. All right, just get through the season. That is all I'm asking for. I don't care about anything else. Just get through the season. You can lose every game. Get through the entire season, please. You know I'm getting desperate when I'm asking the game to please get through the entire season. I'm adding the please here because I just want to get through one season. That's all I'm asking for. One season. Now this just brings a tear to your eye. Not only getting through the entire season, but actually winning a game as well. And it was a regulation win. Okay, not really, as regulation plus overtime. We won overtime, maybe even a shootout. But we won a game this season. Ryan O'Reilly's leading the way, 41 points from him. Rickard Rakell, 39. Quinn Hughes, 31. And then when it comes to our man, Jeremy Swayman, 1 win this season. He also had an OT loss, but I'll take 1 win this season. A 903 and a 543. His numbers are looking pretty spectacular. When it comes to the Stanley Cup champs, that's going to be the Edmonton Oilers, but I need to know who we beat. Who lost to the Wichita Wildcats, a team that has 4 forwards, 2 defensemen, and 1 goalie. Now, I'm pretty sure the win actually came somewhat early in the year, so we're going to be looking around December, November, and it looks like that's going to be the case. Detroit, how on earth did you allow 4 goals to us? We beat you 4-1. That shouldn't have been possible. Like, I'm sorry, but I am pretty sure that was the only game we scored more than 2 goals. In 90% of the games we're getting shut out. In the other 9% of games we're only scoring 1 goal, but somehow we were able to pick up 4 goals against you. Now you just have to get rid of the franchise after that. I'm not even talking relocating. Just get rid of the Red Wings. So we were able to win a game in regulation and we dominated that game. A 4-1 victory. I don't even know how that's possible. With our next jersey number, we're going to be looking at jersey number 35, and I think passing up on Benner might have worked out for us. Now I might not be too familiar with jersey numbers, but I do know one thing. Goalies love jersey numbers between 30 and 39. I don't know why that's the case, but they just seem to love them. So when it comes to goaltenders we can select, Joey Daccord, Thatcher Demko, Tristan Jarry, Darcy Kemper, Sam Montembeault, Linus Ullmark. 6 different goaltenders we can go with, and it's a no-brainer. It's going to be Thatcher Demko. What are we talking about? So we're going to be bringing Thatcher Demko to the team. He's going to be a game changer. This isn't NHL 25 Thatcher Demko, though. This is NHL 26 Thatcher Demko. He's still an elite goaltender, so we're not too concerned. I guess I will take a quick look at Linus Ullmark's overall. What overall is he? He's an 87. So Thatcher Demko is going to be the best goalie available. Now, our goaltending tandem is now set for the rest of the video. We have Thatcher Demko and we got Jeremy Swayman, 2 guys that we can definitely rely on. I have no issues with our goaltending moving forward. It's going to be looking elite. You know what else would be elite, though? Somehow making it through 2 straight seasons. Don't crash again. We have gone 1 season without crashing. Let's try to make it 2. Now, we've now made it through back-to-back seasons, so I'm just praying that we're done with the game freezing and we'll actually be able to move forward. The Wildcats are going to be dead last in the entire league, but we won 3 games this season. We even scored 77 goals. Rickard Rakell was a big part of that. He's picking up 54 points and leading the way. He also was able to pick up 22 goals, but look at Will Cooley's 27 goals. We were finding the back of the net a lot this season. And then when it comes to our 2 goaltenders, both were great this season, but Jeremy Swayman had 2 shutouts. No, this man was absolutely locked in this season. You know for a fact he shut out the St. Louis Blues, and then it's going to be one other team. The Minnesota Wild are Stanley Cup champions. It's time for us to go add another player. I think it's about time we add a superstar forward. We already have our superstar defenseman in Quinn Hughes. We have our superstar goaltender in Thatcher Demko. Give me a superstar forward. So we know what we're all looking for. Jersey number 97. Give me Connor McDavid. He would be an elite pickup. Unfortunately, we're not getting that. Instead, we have jersey number 46. Now, for some reason, jersey number 46 actually seems like a good jersey number. I might be completely wrong, but who are we going to be looking at? Blake Lizotte, Lyubushkin, Jared Spurgeon, Trevor Zegras. I might have been yapping a little bit, but Trevor Zegras or Jared Spurgeon really wouldn't be that bad of pickups. Like, they're not superstars by any means, but they can be decent players on our Stanley Cup winning team in the future. Now, I'm not really too sure if we're going to go with Spurgeon or Zegras here. I'm thinking maybe Spurgeon. He's going to be a higher overall. What's his overall currently right now? He's an 85. I think an 85 overall defenseman would be a great pickup for us. When it comes to Zegras' overall, he's probably only like an 82 or something. Like, compared to a handful of NHL games go, Zegras' overall isn't really that high. He's only an 83. He still has low elite potential though, but I don't really care too much about potential. We're going with the highest overall player, and that's going to be Jared Spurgeon. So we've improved the defense a little bit more. Quinn Hughes and Spurgeon are going to be leading the way for us. Honestly, we're slowly building a pretty good defensive core. If we can get a couple more mid-80 overall players, we're definitely going to have a Stanley Cup caliber defense. But what don't we have right now? A Stanley Cup caliber offense. Yeah, we're missing a lot of players here. Now, unfortunately, after last season's success, that's not going to translate into this season. We're not going to be looking at any wins this season. Only 75 goals scored. I don't know what happened to the Wildcats, but they completely fell off. This is not the team that we saw last season, and I don't really know why we're not quite as good. Like, Jared Spurgeon should have helped us quite a bit. When it comes to goaltending, I guess Jeremy Swayman didn't pick up 2 shutouts, and both of his wins last year were shutouts, so that takes away 2 of our 3 wins right there. So you know what? Maybe this isn't really that surprising. The Edmonton Oilers Stanley Cup champions. I think regardless of what jersey number we land on, we have to go with a forward no matter what. Now, with that being said, if Cale Makar is available, I'm not going to be turning down Cale Makar, so I'll just let that be known. Robert Thomas, welcome to the team. That's all we have to know. It's Robert Thomas. If you're curious on the other players that wear jersey number 18, here you go. We could go with Tim Stutzel. We could go with Sam Steele. Pavel Zacha's available. Zach Hyman's available. That's cool. Robert Thomas, welcome to the team. So Robert Thomas, welcome to the team. An absolute game changer. We got our superstar forward. 89 overall Robert Thomas. The second I saw jersey number 18, I already knew which player I was bringing to the team. So the new superstar on this team is going to be Robert Thomas, 89 overall. He's having a slow start to the season, but you know what? He's going to pick it up over these next couple games. Watch him go on a 5-game point streak. I can guarantee it happens. Will Cooley and Rickard Rakell are going to be at his side. Ryan O'Reilly's moving down to the second line. Braden Pahal is going to be here. Jesper Boqvist is going to be here. Why is he not playing defensive minutes? I have no clue, but I'm not going to question it. So after bringing Robert Thomas to the team, is it really a surprise that we're seeing success? Absolutely not. 3 wins, all of them coming in regulation, 1.18 goals per game. That means we scored 97 goals this season. Robert Thomas was the difference maker. He's picking up 50 points, 17 goals, 33 helpers. Quinn Hughes 46 points, Rickard Rakell 43. Robert Thomas was really the difference maker here. Thatcher Demko 2 wins, Jeremy Swayman 1. They put up decent enough numbers considering how many 0 overalls there are, but Robert Thomas is sparking the momentum. He's giving this team a little bit of motion moving into this next wheel spin. 100%, and this next wheel spin's giving us another superstar, that's for sure. In before we somehow walk away with like a 30 overall player or something, it looks like we're landing on jersey number 86, and Robert Thomas, I was 100% correct when I said you're giving us some momentum. Now, how exactly do I know jersey number 86 is going to work out for us? Well, I just have a gut feeling. And you know what? It's a pretty good gut feeling because it's going to be Nikita Kucherov. So Nikita Kucherov, welcome to the team. I'm going to select you over Jack Hughes, Marchenko, Joel Farabee. I mean, let's be honest here. These are all no-brainers. We're going with Kucherov. So Robert Thomas gave us what we needed, and that was 1-star player. And after getting 1-star player, we're going to walk away with another one. That's going to be 96 overall Nikita Kucherov, the new top player on this team. Things are starting to look up for the Wichita Wildcats. So with the addition of Nikita Kucherov, this is what the forward core is going to be looking like. It's Robert Thomas, Kucherov, Rickard Rakell, Will Cooley, Ryan O'Reilly, and Boqvist. This is actually a decent enough team so far. I'm actually going to change the lines up a little bit just so we can have players in their actual secondary position. Boqvist, your secondary position is left wing, so that's where you're going to be playing now. I don't really think the little changes that we made are going to affect too much. We're still not going to be a super team. However, we're definitely going to be a lot better this season. Now, I feel like it goes without saying Nikita Kucherov is going to be a game changer for us. A 9-70-3 record this season, 5 regulation wins, that's going to be a team high. 9 wins is also going to be a team high. 112 goals is going to be a team high. We're just looking at team highs across the board right now. Kuch is picking up 58 points, Robert Thomas 53 points, Rickard Rakell is going to be picking up 40, and then when it comes to our goaltending, Thatcher Demko is clearly the number one here. 8 wins, 1 shutout, a 9-14 to 4-14. He was absolutely locked in this season, but I can't really complain about what Jeremy Swayman did. He was able to pick up 1 win as the backup, and that's really all I'm looking for. When it comes to the Stanley Cup playoffs, we're going to see the New York Rangers taking down the Winnipeg Jets in a sweep. I'm not too sure if the Winnipeg Jets have won a Stanley Cup so far, and that is very surprising considering they're the Winnipeg Jets in NHL 26. Now that I've made those comments about the Winnipeg Jets, they're definitely going to be winning the Stanley Cup next season. Let's see what happens though. When it comes to the jersey numbers we're looking at jersey number 6, and that's actually really good because if I do recall, a lot of the lower jersey numbers are defensemen. And the more I think about it, I believe it's an elite defenseman with jersey number 6. I could be completely wrong, and it looks like I am going to be completely wrong. It's not the player I was thinking about, but there's still a lot of great options here. Travis Sanheim's going to be available, Ryan Pollock's going to be available, John Marino's available, Mason Lowry's going to be available. But out of all of these guys, I think we're actually going to pass up on all of these defensemen, so I can go with Brock Boeser. Brock Boeser, a stick on the ice legend, one of my favorite players. He's been my favorite player on the Vancouver Canucks for a long time now. I don't really want to turn away from Brock Boeser. I really want to bring him to the team, so that's going to be our next selection. Now, although the plan is to go with Brock Boeser, I will double check on Chychrun's overall. He's only an 87. I'm going to be honest, I thought he was a higher overall than that. I thought he was like an 88, 89 overall. Apparently that is not the case. We're going with Brock Boeser, who is an 86 overall, which is a little bit lower than I thought it was. Okay, do I go with Brock Boeser or do I go with Chychrun? You know what? We're going with Brock Boeser. We've already added 2 players from the Vancouver Canucks in Quinn Hughes and Thatcher Demko. Why not add a third in Brock Boeser? We're just building a better Vancouver Canucks team. Now there's only 8 more remaining 0 overall players, 5 on our forward core and then 3 on our defensive core. With that being said, we're a long ways away from competing for a Stanley Cup, but if we can bring in a couple more superstars pretty quick, we might be competing sooner than later. Now with us continuing to improve the team, of course our record's going to keep on getting better, and for the first time ever, we don't have 70 regulation losses. We're going to be losing 71 games if you include OT losses, but when it comes to regulation losses, we're only losing 69, so if that's not improvement, I don't know what is. Nikita Kucherov's also going to be over a point a game. Robert Thomas is going to be 3 points back of a point a game, because why would Robert Thomas ever be a point a game in an NHL game? That just makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Demko 8 wins, Jeremy Swayman 3 wins. The goaltending was looking pretty solid. The offense was looking pretty solid. This team would have won a Stanley Cup if we didn't have 8-0 overalls on the team. So once we get rid of those guys, we're going to sweep the postseason. So I don't think it really matters what position we bring to the team, whether it's a forward or a defenseman, anyone's going to help. Number 17 should be giving us an elite player. If Robert Thomas was jersey number 18, then number 17 is just going to be slightly below that. Now, is that terrible logic? Absolutely. Like, that is some of the worst logic I've ever heard before, but it doesn't really matter because look at all the amazing options we have. Josh Anderson, stick on the ice legend, Will Borgen, Cam Fowler's going to be available, Hronik's going to be available, Alex Killorn's going to be available. There's a ton of amazing options here, but I think we might go with Dylan Strome. Dylan Strome might be one of the better options to go with here. I believe he is the highest overall of all these players, but then again, we could just bring in our 4th Vancouver Canuck in Hronik, and I kind of want to do that just because I think it would be funny. Now, for the sake of just not rebuilding the Vancouver Canucks. I'm not going to go with Hronek here, so we are going to go with Dylan Strome. 89 overall. He's going to be one of the better playmakers on this team. He's going to be our second line playmaker though, because of course Robert Thomas is going to be ahead of him. Now with Dylan Strome being our second line centerman, that means Ryan O'Reilly is going to be moving down to the third line. So we have some amazing center depth right now. We just need a couple more snipers. We have a lot of playmakers here. Give me some elite snipers. Now I thought with Dylan Strome and us improving our forward core a little bit more, we would be looking at more than just 14 wins. But I'm not going to complain about 14 wins. It is a step in the right direction. And 171 goals, that's going to be a new team best. When it comes to Kucherov's numbers, surprisingly, he's actually going to be below a point a game, only picking up 80. Robert Thomas is down to 67 points. Why am I not surprised? Dylan Strome, 63 points, 22 goals, 41 helpers. He has some pretty solid numbers. Of course, Quinn Hughes is going to be doing his thing. And then when it comes to our goaltenders, both of them were elite. However, Thatcher Demko was the guy. 13 wins this season, a 905 with a 429. He's still facing a lot of shots, but he's making a lot of saves. That's just what Thatcher Demko does. And then when it comes to our Stanley Cup winners, that's going to be the Washington Capitals, so it's not going to be the Winnipeg Jets. Very surprising there. Now, similar to the last spin, I'm not necessarily looking for a forward or a defenseman. Just give me the best player available. And are we going to get that with jersey number 40? Maybe. I couldn't tell you. I feel like jersey number 40 is just a weird jersey number. Like, it's just 40. I don't know why. I feel like jersey number 40 is just a weird number. Like 44 makes a little bit more sense. 43 makes more sense. I feel like 40 is just a weird number. And with jersey number 40, I can't believe I'm saying this, I think we're bringing in another Vancouver Canuck. I think Elias Pettersson is actually the best option, and I don't want to turn down the best option. So it's time for us to bring in our fourth Vancouver Canuck. We could have had 5 if we selected Hronek earlier, but we didn't select him. So now we're bringing in Elias Pettersson. This is getting ridiculous. Now I'm going to keep it a stack. I have no clue how we ended up in this position. How are we just rebuilding the Vancouver Canucks? 87 overall Elias Pettersson, you're going to be the next player brought to the team. We have now brought in the 4 highest rated players on the team, and we technically could have had Hronek as well. 25% of our team could have been Vancouver Canucks. Instead, it's only going to be 20%, but that is still a large amount of our team being Vancouver Canucks. So 3 of our forward lines are complete, and honestly, they're not looking too bad, except for a lack of snipers. Give me a sniper. I don't need more playmakers. We have a surplus of playmakers here, and it is actually starting to get a little bit annoying. Give me some snipers. Now, I guess we just needed a couple more Vancouver Canucks on the team, because the Wichita Wildcats are finishing with a 17-58-7 record. I think there is a possibility over these next 2 spins we'll no longer be the worst team in the entire league. I think ideally we bring in 2 defensemen, because defensemen actually have quite a big impact on the record of your team. Nikita Kucherov, 81 points, Robert Thomas, 64 points, Quinn Hughes, 57. We have to get Quinn Hughes an elite defensive partner. Jared Spurgeon, there's nothing wrong with you. However, if we could bring in a 90 overall partner for Quinn Hughes, I think Quinn Hughes and his defensive partner would be able to take over the NHL. The Buffalo Sabres are winning the Stanley Cup, and all I can do is laugh, because what are we talking about? Like, I'm sorry, but the Buffalo Sabres are not winning the Stanley Cup during the 2025-2026 season. Let's try to keep things a little bit realistic. So after seeing that nonsense, we're landing on jersey number 22. Now there's 21 different players we could select from, so I'm assuming we're going to be walking away with a great player, and of course that is going to be the case. Matt Savoy, welcome to the team. Now I'm going to be honest, if you weren't a playmaker, I actually would go with you right here. But with you being a playmaker, I think I'm going to pass up on you, and surprisingly, we're actually not going to go for Kevin Fiala, but instead, we're going to bring Brett Pesce to the team. He's going to be a nice defenseman we can add to the team, and he is one of the highest overalls available out of all these players. So Brett Pesce, I'm electing to go with you over a guy like Kevin Fiala. I think our defensive core needs a bit more of an upgrade, and you are a really solid defenseman. However, maybe your overall is not as high as I thought it was. I mean, an 86 overall defensive defenseman, I don't really want to turn that down. So yeah, Brett Pesce, welcome to the team. Then again, now that I know you're an 86 overall, because I thought you were an 87, Kevin Fiala, doesn't make more sense to go with you. I actually think it does. I'm changing my mind. I know I was talking about bringing a defenseman to the team. That's not the case anymore. We need a sniper here, and Kevin Fiala, you're going to play first line minutes for me, and you're going to score some goals. Now, you know what? I will not stand for this disrespect any longer. They keep putting Dylan Strome on the first line over Robert Thomas. I don't know why they're doing this. It makes absolutely no sense to me. And what also makes no sense is having Elias Pettersson on the second line. I understand he's an 87 overall, but why don't we just do something like this? In my mind, this makes way more sense. We get a sniper on the second line alongside Robert Thomas. We have a sniper on the first line alongside Dylan Strome and Nikita Kucherov. And then on the third line, I guess we have Will Cooley as a power forward playing with Pettersson. It makes no sense to just load up our second line with a bunch of playmakers and then on our third line have no playmakers. Like, why would we do that? Okay, now it is possible we're second last in the entire league. However, we need a team to have a historically bad season, and that's not going to happen. We're dead last in the entire league, a 26-48-8 record. We were only 9 points back of the Calgary Flames, so let's not act like they were significantly better than us. We're not too far off. Once we bring in one more defenseman, we're going to be second last in the entire league. Shout out to Nikita Kucherov being our first player with a positive plus-minus. You'll love to see it. Robert Thomas, he did what he could. Kevin Fiala was only -1 this season. He picked up 24 goals. He's looking not too bad. Meanwhile, Thatcher Demko, I was kind of hoping the numbers would be a little bit better. Like the save percentage and goals against that Jeremy Swayman put up, that's what I was expecting from you. But you know what? It's still pretty early. Like, we still have a handful of 0 overalls on the team. So if the goals against and save percentage isn't looking perfect quite yet, that's perfectly fine. Like, am I really going to throw both of my goaltenders under the bus for not posting a 920 and a 220 when they have 0 overall players in front of them? Absolutely not. This is clearly not their fault. The next jersey number we're going to be selecting a player from is going to be jersey number 82. I feel like jersey number 82 should be a good player. I just feel when it comes to players that wear jersey number 80 and higher, you're always going to be walking away with a great player. Then again, look what jersey number 94 gave us. So I might be completely yapping. Now, considering jersey number 82 only has 3 players, I don't have the highest expectations for this player. Jesper Cockingyummy. We are going to be walking away with Jesper Cockingyummy as the best player out of these 3. Yes, remember how I said we're going to get a great player? I might have lied. Now, I am not happy with this selection whatsoever for multiple reasons. 1, Jesper Cockingyummy, you are only an 83 overall. Number 2, you're a playmaker. You're an 83 overall playmaker that we 1000% don't need here. So yeah, you'll play 4th line minutes for me. You're going to play about 8 minutes a night, and that's about it. So we're 1 forward away from completing our forward core here, and honestly, it's really not looking too bad. We just need a couple more snipers. However, in saying that, we are 3 defensemen away from completing this defensive core, so we better start working on that. Like, we can win a Stanley Cup with 0 overalls on our 4th line. I'm not sure if we can do that with 0 overalls playing defense for us. Now, if I told you Jesper Cockingyummy did not save this team, would you be overly surprised? Not at all. Like, what are we talking about here? Jesper Cockingyummy, I didn't think you'd make this team significantly worse, though. I knew you weren't going to be able to turn us into a Stanley Cup caliber team, but this is a little bit ridiculous. The team took massive steps back across the board. Yeah, we're going to pretend that this season didn't happen. The Winnipeg Jets are Stanley Cup champions. It was only a matter of time. Alright, so we're focused on defensemen, so give me a really low jersey number and we'll probably be walking away with a superstar. Or give me 96. That works as well. Now, unfortunately, with jersey number 96, I don't believe we're going to be walking away with a defenseman. Never mind, yes, we are. The thing is, if we go with a defenseman, we have to pass up on Mikko Rantanen. I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I can pass up on Mikko Rantanen so we can select Jake Wallman. So we might be forced to select Mikko Rantanen here. I mean, when I say we're being forced to select Mikko Rantanen, like, I'm not against bringing him to the team. We just desperately need defensemen. Now, this is a tough decision that really shouldn't be a tough decision. Like, we're talking about 93 overall Mikko Rantanen, one of the best snipers in the game. Or do we pass up on him so we can bring a defenseman to the team that we desperately need, an 87 overall Jake Wallman? In theory, Jake Wallman actually makes a bit more sense here because we do need defensemen. If I select Mikko Rantanen, that means our next 3 selections have to be defensemen regardless of who we're looking at. So with the next wheel spin, if we land on 97 and it's supposed to be Connor McDavid, we can't select Connor McDavid because we need a defenseman. But I'm going to be willing to take that risk. Mikko Rantanen, welcome to the team. I really hope I don't land on number 97 moving forward. Now I'm going to have Mikko Rantanen play out of position. I'm going to have him play on the left side so we can have Nikita Kucherov and Dylan Strome alongside him. We have an incredible forward core, and then here's our defensive core. Yeah, we need some superstars. Now, Mikko Rantanen, you're definitely the right selection. However, you weren't good enough to help us finish second last in the entire league. Even though we had more wins than the Seattle Kraken, they're going to finish with more points, 67 points to our 65, and the only reason for that, defense. Our defense still isn't good enough. We're allowing 3.82 goals per game. That is way too many. But once we add another elite defenseman here, all of that's going to change. Kucherov, Mikko Rantanen, and Dylan Strome are going to be an elite first line. Quinn Hughes is going to be a superstar defenseman for us. We just need more defensive help. Like, that's literally all it is. Our forward core is good enough to win a Stanley Cup. We just need defensemen. That's literally it. The Washington Capitals Stanley Cup champions. I can guarantee you we're going to be making the playoffs next season. Now, maybe I should take that back. back, I shouldn't guarantee us the postseason next season, because I don't even know what type of a defenseman we're going to get with jersey number 39. Like, we might only walk away with like an 83 overall player, and I'm not sure if an 83 overall is going to be able to make that much of a difference. What I should have said is I can guarantee you we're not going to be dead last in the entire league. We're no longer going to be the worst team after adding another player. The real question is, with jersey number 39, what are we actually going to be walking away with? I'm not too familiar with this number. We could have walked away with Mackenzie Blackwood. Can we select anyone here? Ben Jones, I don't know if you're a defenseman. Michkov, I know you're not. Mantha, I know you're not. I think we're going to be walking away with a lot of mid. So it turns out we're actually not going to be walking away with a lot of mid here, because none of these guys are defensemen, so we're going to have to spin the wheel again. Now this is why it's incredibly risky, because if we land on Connor McDavid's jersey number, we can't bring Connor McDavid to the team. Jersey number 11 should give us a decent enough defenseman. So I can almost guarantee you we're going to be walking away with at least one defenseman here. Now, is that going to be the case? I actually have no clue. Are any of these guys defensemen? I don't think so. I actually don't think we're walking away with a defenseman here. So when it comes to jersey number 11, once again, we're actually not going to be walking away with a defenseman, so we're not going to be adding any players here. We would have been able to walk away with a guy like Anze Kopitar or even a guy like Dylan Guenther if we had a forward position open, but unfortunately that's not the case, so we're going to have to spin again. So let's spin the jersey number wheel once again and see what we're going to land on. Just give me a defenseman. I feel like it shouldn't be that difficult. Number 72. Don't let me down. Now, I'm not really too sure if jersey number 72 is really going to be helping us that much. There is 10 different players to select from. And you know what? It looks like it won't let us down. Thomas Chabot is going to be available. Justin Falk's going to be available. And Alex Vlasic is also going to be available. But you know who else was available? Tage Thompson. And that would have been cool. Now, it might have taken a handful of spins, but we finally got the defenseman that we wanted to bring to the team. From the Ottawa Senators, we're looking at 87 overall Thomas Chabot. Thomas Chabot, you don't have to be the superstar on this team because we have Quinn Hughes. I just need you to play your role. So Thomas Chabot is going to prevent us from being the worst team in the NHL. However, are we going to somehow sneak into the postseason? I'm not too sure. We still have 2-0 overalls when it comes to our third line, but maybe we can get into a wild card spot or something. Now it's finally happened. The Wichita Wildcats are no longer the worst team in the NHL. They're better than the Buffalo Sabres, Ottawa Senators, Vancouver Canucks, which is kind of funny considering how many players we have from Vancouver, Carolina Hurricanes, New Jersey Devils, and Calgary Flames. The Wichita Wildcats 26th in the entire league, a 37-37-8 record, and once we add one more defenseman, we're in the postseason. I think once we add another defenseman, we're going to be looking at top 5 in the entire league. It also helps that Nikita Kucherov picked up 102 points, and Mikko Rantanen had 95 points. But the big difference this season, defense. Defense is winning us games. Thatcher Demko picked up 34 wins, 1 shutout, a 902 and a 340 this season. Jeremy Swayman's numbers didn't look too terrible as well. We've been lacking defensemen for a long time, but once we bring one more to the team, we're going to see some postseason action, and then after that, we're going to be looking at Stanley Cups. So let's bring in a superstar defenseman like Cale Makar and then go ahead and be a wildcard team and then somehow win the Stanley Cup. Unfortunately though, I am very confident that Cale Makar does not wear the jersey number 28, but just because we're not walking away with Cale Makar doesn't mean we're just going to be walking away with a bad player. There's a handful of options, one of those options being Andre Burakovsky, and I really wish I could bring him to the team. Unfortunately, he's not a defenseman. With that being said, there is a couple defenseman options available, and Romanov, I think you actually are the highest rated defenseman on this list right here, so we're going to go ahead and select you next. Now, Alexander Romanov, I guess you're going to be the difference maker for us. You're going to be the guy that gets this team into the postseason. I never would have expected that, but you're an 84 overall, which is going to be really good for our third pairing. I can't really complain too much about this selection. We desperately needed a defenseman, so we got one. Now, I believe that our team is one elite right defenseman away from winning a Stanley Cup. Like with this 1-0 overall, I don't know if we're going to be quite good enough. Like the right side is looking very weak here. The left side's looking really strong, but we just need one more elite defenseman on the right side, and then once we have that, we're easily going to be able to win a Stanley Cup. Okay, maybe I shouldn't say easily, because I have built some incredible teams that could never win Stanley Cups. So I take that comment back. Nothing's going to be easy. Now, it turns out that having a 0 overall in the team isn't really going to hurt us that much, because the Wichita Wildcats are first in the entire league with a 54-27-1 record. We went from missing the playoffs to the best team in the entire league. Nikita Kucherov played a big part in that, 106 points this season. Mikko Rantanen 99 points, only 35 goals. I was expecting a little bit more from you. Dylan Strome 74, Robert Thomas 70. This team across the board was looking amazing. And then Thatcher Demko 44 wins, 2 shouts, a 909 and 290 .997. All I need is Thatcher Demko to post some slightly better numbers in the postseason, and we're going to be walking away as Stanley Cup champs. So Thatcher Demko, you know exactly what you have to do. You have to lock in here and allow us to succeed, and you are definitely doing that. Through the first 4 games, this man is absolutely dialed. We might be walking away with the Stanley Cup in our first postseason appearance, but I shouldn't get ahead of myself. We just won round number 1. There's still 3 more rounds to go, and we have to be elite in all those rounds. We are not elite so far. 7 goals here, 6 goals here. The defense completely collapsed. Can we steal game number 5 away? It doesn't look like it. We're off to game 6 elimination. I got too gassed with this team. I was getting way too hyped after our round number 1 success. It is not translating into the second round, but maybe it is. Robert Thomas and Quinn Hughes are starting the goal scoring off. It's going to be a quiet second period, so can we win the third period to win this game? Well, Marcus Foligno would score a late goal, but it's not going to be enough. We're off to game 7. So we have game 7 in the second round between the Minnesota Wild and the Wichita Wildcats. The winner of this matchup is going to be moving on to the conference finals. Now, who is it going to be? Well, each team is picking up 3 goals in the first period because who plays any defense anymore? Moving into the second, we're picking up another 2, but Matt Boldy's going to be picking up 1. So there has been 9 goals scored through 2 periods. I can only assume there's going to be a lot more goal scoring in the third period, and is that going to be the case? Well, each team's going to be picking up 1, and Pahal is going to be picking up the most important one with less than 3 minutes in the game. He's somehow going to be the guy picking up the game 7 winner, and we're off to the conference finals. There is no way out of all the stars on this team, Pahal is picking up the big time goal. I never would have expected that. We're moving into the conference finals, and we now have the Edmonton Oilers, and Edmonton's scoring a lot of goals. Luckily, we're going to be winning back-to-back games. We split the series, so once again, it's going to be a best of 3. Can we win game number 5 this time? Nope, we're going to be allowing 5 goals once again. Why do we always do this? So after allowing 5 goals, can the defense respond in this one? Well, in the first period, Edmonton's picking up 2 goals to our 1. Moving into the second, they're picking up another 2 goals. I don't think we're making the comeback in this one. We're going to fall just short of it. Kucherov and Quinn Hughes would pick up goals, but we're going to be dropping this one 4-3 to the Edmonton Oilers. Considering this was our first postseason appearance and the team's going to be even better next season, I'm not too concerned. So the Edmonton Oilers, after taking us down, are going to go on to beat the Montreal Canadiens in 7 games to win the Stanley Cup. But the Wildcats are definitely going to be winning a cup next season. Dylan Strome, Kucherov, Mikko, Rantanen, Elias, Pettersson, Kevin Fiala, all of these guys are going to have a chip on their shoulder moving into next season. Thatcher Demko, he wants to get back from this bad performance because an .895 and a .347, that's not good enough. So basically, all we need to do is get a superstar right defenseman, and then all of our problems are going to be solved. Am I asking for a little bit too much? Potentially. Now, I guess the real question is jersey number 89 going to be giving us that? Because there's only 6 different players that we can look at. I know for a fact one of them is Buchnevich, Lars Eller, Frederick Gaudreau, Nick Robertson, Alex Tuck, and then we have Ozzy. The only player I'm not sure about is Ozzy. I actually have no clue what position this man plays. All these other guys I know for a fact are forwards. I gotta double check on Ozzy. Now, I can confirm that Ozzy is not a defenseman. Do want to give a shout out to him though. 2 points in his first 3 games played this season. Bro's looking kind of nice early on. Now, we're not going to be able to pick up a guy like Buchnevich or Alex Tuck because we still need a defenseman. However, with jersey number 9, I can guarantee you we're getting a good defenseman. Like, jersey number 9 just sounds like a good defenseman. And is that going to be the case? Well, Sam Bennett would be a great pickup. Jack Eichel would be an amazing pickup. Philip Forsberg would be pretty good. Tanner Howe, shout out to him. Unfortunately, we can't go with any of those guys. We can't even go with Clayton Keller or Adrian Kempe. So the guys we're going to be looking at, Dmitry Orlov, Ivan Provorov, or Jamie Drysdale. Now, Jamie Drysdale, I believe, is actually the only true right defenseman here. But you know what? I think for the sake of this video, Ivan Provorov, you're going to have to learn to play out of position. Now, I do believe that Ivan Provorov actually is the best option here, but I want to double check with Dmitry Orlov. He's an 85 overall. I actually believe that's the same overall as Ivan Provorov, so maybe it's not really that much of a difference. When it comes to the Philadelphia Flyers, with Jamie Drysdale, he's only an 82 overall. For some reason, I thought he was a little bit higher than that. I guess not. So Ivan Provorov, I guess we're just going to go with you. I mean, there's no difference between you and Dmitry Orlov. Like, it's the exact same difference. But I said I was going to bring you to the team, so I guess I'm going to commit to that. Now, with the addition of Ivan Provorov, the team is officially complete. When it comes to our forward core, you already know what that is. We've been running this for a handful of years now. When it comes to the defensive core, you might not be aware of that. Quinn Hughes, Jared Spurgeon, Ivan Provorov, Thomas Chabot, Romanov, and Pahal are going to be manning that third pairing. Truthfully, the defense doesn't look terrible. I don't think it's great by any means, but then again, I shouldn't say that. Like, Quinn Hughes and Jared Spurgeon, that's a pretty good good top pairing. And then Provorov and Chabot, I think I can live with that as a second pairing. And then Romanov and Pahal, they can't really be that bad for a third pairing. When it comes to goaltending, we have Thatcher, Demko, and we have Jeremy Swayman. If we were the best team in the entire league last season, we're definitely going to be the best team in the entire league again now that we brought in Provorov. So once again, the Wildcats are going to be the best team in the entire league. A 50-27-5 record. We were only 1 point better than Florida, and then 2 points better than the Colorado Avalanche, and then somehow only 4 points better than the Buffalo Sabres. So the league is incredibly competitive right now. We can't get comfortable. Kucherov 94 points, Mikko 86 points, Dylan Strome 67, Robert Thomas 64, and then when it comes to goaltending, Thatcher, Demko 43 wins, 2 shots, a 910 to 290. I need numbers like that in the postseason. If you give me numbers like that, we probably can win a Stanley Cup because of how elite our offense is. We're going to be taking on the LA Kings in the first round. No more folding. So Wichita, it's time for you to figure it out. Okay, that was an incredible start. A 7-0 victory. Then we dropped 2 games in a row. Why did you do that? It better not be 3 games in a row. It better not be 4 games in a row now. If we lose in the first round, that is a wild way to lose. But you know what? We got game 7. Thatcher Demko has picked up 2 shutouts. However, I think his goals against would still be terrible because he allowed 7 goals in 1 game. We're moving into this one against the LA Kings. Kopitar's picking up the first goal. We're going to be responding with 2 of our own. Both of them are coming from Nikita Kucherov. Can we win the third period? Yes, we can. Thomas Chabot's picking up an insurance goal, and we're moving on to the second round, but this shouldn't have been nearly as close as it was. I just want to point out, moving into the second round against the Colorado Avalanche, Thatcher Demko is rolling right now. That man is looking elite in between the pipes. All of that is gone. All right, let's spin the wheel. Nah, like ain't no way we just got swept in the second round. Thatcher Demko was all over the board there. He was good, then he was bad, then he was elite, then he was terrible. I just need a little bit of consistency out of that man. Now I do want to point out with jersey number 24, there's going to be a lot of different players to select from, but we can go with either a forward or a defenseman. Nothing's going to be holding us back here. So in reality, I think we just go with the best player available. And who is that player going to be? Well, I'm starting to think it's going to be either Seth Jarvis or Rupe Hintz. Those 2 guys seem to be the clear favorites right now. I don't think Scott Laughton's going to be in that conversation. I don't think Connor McMichael's going to be in that conversation. So it's either going to be Seth Jarvis or Rupe Hintz. I feel like whoever's the highest overall, that's what we're going to go with. Now, I'm pretty confident that Seth Jarvis is going to be a higher overall than Rupe Hintz. Right now, Seth Jarvis is an 88 overall. When it comes to Rupe Hintz's overall, I think he's only an 87. He could be an 88, though. I'm not really too sure. It looks like he's an 87. However, I have been looking to add a couple more snipers to the team, and that's exactly what Seth Jarvis is. So in reality, this is actually a pretty easy decision. Okay, so I think we might finally have our Stanley Cup winning team. Dylan Strome, Kucherov, and Mikko Rantanen on the top line. Kevin Fiala, Robert Thomas, and Seth Jarvis on the second line. So we're going to get a lot of goal scoring from this second line. And then Will Cooley, Elias, Pettersson, and Boeser. That should give us some even more goal scoring on the bottom 6. I feel like this team right here is good enough to win a Stanley Cup. Maybe we need a bit more help on our defense, but I feel like this defense should be good enough. And then when it comes to Thatcher Demko, please step up for me. That's really all I need at this point. I just need an elite Thatcher Demko performance. Now, I think this might be the season for the Wichita Wildcats to win, because we no longer have to worry about the President's Trophy curse. We're third in the entire league, a 50-27-5 record. Just figure it out. You guys have all the talent in the world. You don't need more talent. Why is Robert Thomas -4? This game hates Robert Thomas. I'm fully convinced of it. Thatcher Demko, these numbers look spectacular. They better translate to the postseason. That's literally all I'm asking for. Good postseason numbers from Thatcher Demko, and we'll win a Stanley Cup. We also have the perfect opportunity to get back against the Colorado Avalanche. They swept us last season. We won't allow that to happen again. We're winning game 1 and we're winning game 3. However, they're winning games 2 and games 4. So we need to win game 5. This is a must-win game for us, and we're going to fold. Wow, that's not a surprise whatsoever. Somehow in the most spectacular fashion, this team is going to find a way to fold every single time. Nichushkin's picking up the first goal. We're down by 3 goals. We lost this game 5-2. I don't know what to say anymore. I really don't. That is the second time in a row we have lost to the Colorado Avalanche. Robert Thomas led the team with 8 points. This man had 8 assists, all of them being 5-on-5 assists, and he was still -4. He was on the ice for 12 goals allowed. How on earth is that possible? Meanwhile, Thatcher Demko, an 898 and a 326. Those are not your regular season numbers. Alright, so I don't know what we need, whether it's a superstar forward, a superstar defenseman, or a superstar goaltender. Just give me a superstar regardless of what the jersey number is, which is going to be jersey number 47. So there's going to be 8 different players for us to select from. Now, who are those players? Chisholm, Paul Cotter, Noah Juleson. Wow, this is low-key cooked. Connor Zary, I guess. I think we go with Connor Zary. I think he's the best option. I don't really know why Torrey Krug's an option. I'm pretty sure his career is over. I'm like 99.9% sure his career is over. Paul Cotter, I guess you're not a bad option. Yeah, this is nothing special. Now, Connor Zary, I guess we're going to go with you. I believe you are the best option, but I'm not even sure if you're an upgrade for our team. Like, technically, you're not. Jesper Cockingyummy is going to be higher overall than you, so I guess we're not going to be going with you. So I guess the next option is Paul Cotter, but I don't think he's an 84 overall player. He's only an 83, so he's not an upgrade from Jesper Cockingyummy. So I guess it all comes down to Chisholm. Is Chisholm going to be at least an 81 overall defenseman? If he is, he's going to be jumping onto the team here. And is that going to be the case with Chisholm? No, he's only an 80 overall. So I think we have to spin the wheel again because we're not getting any upgrades whatsoever. But you know what? Sometimes overall doesn't really matter that much. Maybe we just need to shake things up. So Paul Cotter, although you're the exact same overall as Jesper Cockingyummy, I think you might make the difference. Now with Paul Cotter joining the fourth line, every player on this team has an X factor when it comes to the forward core. When it comes to the defensive core, 4 of our 6 players have X factors. And then when it comes to our goaltending, both of our goalies have X factors. Now the question is, can we win? And based on how things have been going so far, the answer is no, we cannot win. Now, you know what? There was a method I learned not too long ago, and I'm going to try that method today. So what you have to do is simulate the first 7 games. There's no way we get swept. Are we actually going out like this? Okay, the method does not work. We lost in 5 games. So now that we know that we're losing in the first round, there's no point in looking at the standings. There's no point in looking at the stats. There's no point in looking at any of that. Jersey number 93 better be the greatest player of all time. Because apparently this team just needs the greatest players of all time in order to see success. Mitch Marner, welcome to the team. All right, Mitch Marner, welcome to the team. I'm going to add you and we're immediately going to head into next season. There's nothing else we have to do. Now, I wasn't playing around when I said we're immediately heading into next season. We're not looking at this team. We don't need to look at the roster. We just need to win games. Of course, we're dropping game 1. Why am I not surprised? Yeah, so I don't even know what to say anymore. We're first in the entire league with 58 wins, a 58, 16, and 8 record. So we likely have the best offense in the league, which we do at 4.11 goals per game. We're allowing 2.9, which isn't the best in the entire league. I have no clue how we don't have a top 5 defense. I mean, technically we do, but I don't know how we don't have a top 3 defense. How is Vegas's defense better than ours? Then again, I kind of take that comment back based on who our defensemen are. We don't have enough superstar defensemen here. We have some great players on this team, don't get me wrong, but we need an elite defensive defenseman. And you know who would be amazing for us? Brett Pesce. I regret that move so much now. We should have brought Brett Pesce to the team. This team would look significantly better because of that. We're taking on the Winnipeg Jets in the first round, the last team that I want to take on. Now, I do want to point out we won 20 more games in the regular season than Winnipeg did. We dropped game number 1. We won 20 more games than this team, and we're losing game number 1, and we're losing game number 5. Y'all better not lose game 6. We're closing it out thanks to a Thatcher Demko shutout, but why are things not looking that great for us? We have the Nashville Predators up next. I don't care what anyone's record is. Every team can compete with the Wildcats right now, and so far that's what Nashville's doing. We have to win game 5. I don't know how many game 5s we've won this video, but it's like 2. We never win in game number 5, but we're finally doing that. Now win game number 6. That's what we're doing. We're in the conference finals. The last time we were in the conference finals, we took on the Edmonton Oilers. Now we're taking on the Vancouver Canucks. If we lose to the Vancouver Canucks, it makes no sense considering we're just a better Vancouver Canucks team. We have the same goaltender. We have the same number 1 centerman. We have the same number 1 left defenseman. And we have the same number 1 right winger. We have 4 players from this Vancouver Canucks team. We have a 3-1 series lead. We're closing out in game 5. We need to win 4 more games, and those wins have to come against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Sweep Tampa Bay. We can't give them any games in this series, and it looks like we don't have to worry about it. It's a sweep over the Tampa Bay Lightning, and just like that, the Wildcats are Stanley Cup champs. Now, why on earth did this team finally figure it out and win a Stanley Cup here? Well, it's incredibly obvious. Thatcher Demko is him. 16 wins, 3 shouts, a 936 and a 193. This is what I've been waiting for the entire video. I just needed Thatcher Demko to be this man right here, and he finally was that man. When we needed a big time goalie, when we needed somebody to step up when the lights were the brightest, NHL 25 Thatcher Demko showed up for me. In NHL 26, he absolutely dominated, and he's the reason we won this cup.